we are live
What's up,
from
everybody?
MLOps World GenAI Summit here in Austin. Look at these beautiful trees. Look at this sunshiny October day. It's great to be with you live in Austin today, Wiz.
You know what? It's pretty great. It's not every day we get to join from the great state of Texas, but today is one of those days, and we're excited. It's a little hot, you know.
Yeah, a little hot.
But that's because the conference is fire, bro. Okay.
It did kick off with a bang.
It did.
Today.
It did.
That was pretty dope. I like the lightning talks. We've even got one of the lightning talks folks here with us today.
That's right.
I liked hearing from the executive director. We've even got the executive director here with us
Hell
today.
yeah, we do.
And and really, it felt like good vibes all around in person. It's good to get connected with folks in person from the community and beyond.
I mean, shout out to the Austin, AI community. Like, we see the same faces every year. We've been here 3 years now. They're still building, they're growing, they're getting better, stronger, faster. We see people from our community that are local to the area also getting better, stronger, faster. Like, you love coming to these conferences to get kind of the pulse check on, how hard people are hitting the paint on this whole new wave of technology. It's just really heartening to see every year people get better and better and better.
Yeah, and there's a really interesting overlap kind of between the Toronto Machine Learning Summit crew and also the MLOps crew. It's cool to see the same folks, as you said, coming out, building, shipping, and sharing, adopting the latest technology. And I'm really struck by how everybody here they don't really worry as much as a lot of other people that I kind of am encountering on a daily basis about, they're going to be eliminated. The AI is going to take their jobs. Agent builder is going to, just take us all over. There's definitely a sort of realness to it all, a focus on production, a focus on the MLOpsing and the LLM opsing really of production LLM applications. So I'm excited to kind of hear more. I wanted to hear more detail this morning a little bit than I think we got from one of the talks, but I am excited to hear more about what's really happening inside of companies.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, this is a unique audience insofar as the kind of broader AI community, because it's called MLOps World GenAI Summit. What that means is there's this really, really important focus on infrastructure and deployment. How do you actually make these apps useful in production? One of the people we're going to hear from today mentions in his kind of opening remarks, right, that it's really important to not just talk about how cool AI is, but
and it is cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, it is dope.
But like how to deploy it, right? From I'm getting started to I have many thousands of people that depend on my product. And I think that's a niche that you don't get at other conferences. And we see that those infra kind of companies attend and give talks, and really, again, they're focused on taking your app from kind of this early prototyping stage to, as we, of course, prototype to production.
That's right. That's right. And, it's like every time you really dig in with kind of a large company, they're doing enterprise work, and you talk to, let's say, I was speaking to one senior manager today, and he was from Carfax. Okay. And so it's one of these companies that have been around, they've been playing the game for a long time. And so what you end up inevitably hearing is like, yeah, well, I've been in this software building game at tech companies for 20 years, and it's much of the same when you really get down into what's the next workflow we need to automate. Do we really need an LLM to do it? Should I be branding it as agentic AI to my leadership? Maybe, but like realistically, it's kind of more about like really understanding what's the bottleneck in my process. How can I automate that? Even if it has zero agency in the workflow, it's probably still going to produce some real ROI. And we're hearing that ROI line more than ever. Really refreshing.
Yeah.
Really refreshing.
Well, the first year we were here, it was really like experimental. Prototypes. How do we prototype fast? How do we prototype in a solid way? How do we start building AI into our company? How do we start having conversations? And now you're absolutely right. I mean, the conversation has shifted from how do we start to, okay, we've got something. How do we integrate? How do we take it to the next step? how do we start getting real value from this? I mean, one of the guys we see here all the time, Butch.
That's right. Shout out to Butch.
Shout out to Butch.
Yeah,
Who runs a AI service for funeral homes, right?
For death care. Let's go.
Yeah, that's right. For death care. You know, their customers are dying to get help. And but the idea of this is that when we first talked to him, he was early prototype, really early prototype. Now he's in 3 homes. He's working with how to dial in the experience to make sure that people get the care that they need the correct way, and again, how to take that next step, right? And so seeing those journeys are reflective of the journey that we're all in across the domain.
Yeah, and the next step is like, you know, when you're talking about an individual like Butch with a startup, you know, it's like the next step is at the individual human level, whereas, you know, and you worry about what exactly is kind of the empathetic vibe my AI is giving, how exactly am I meeting a person really where they are when they're in that step of a journey. And then when you talk about, you know, the more business oriented folks trying to generate real business value, it's not necessarily about getting empathetic to an individual, but it is about having that sort of, you know, user empathy for the stakeholder you're building for, the person who you're automating the tedious, dumb task that they hate doing, even if it's as mundane as document extraction in the case of like something like Carfax, you know?
Well, and this is the thing, right? So we're kind of, AI has allowed us to build really awesome complex systems that do really awesome complex things. But one thing that we are hearing a lot more of is personalization of AI, is fitting it to the user now, right? We're moving past seeing it as this like broad strokes kind of cudgel method where we're just like, we've got AI, let's just slap AI until it works. And now we're seeing that kind of fine tuning, that kind of, you know, expansion into suiting AI to the needs. We're seeing that from the model level. We're seeing it from the application level.
Right.
It's really just, it feels like there's maturation in the space.
Yeah.
You know, it's
like
not,
we're almost doing MLOps.
We're almost there.
You know? Like, and it's not just at the product and user level, right? It's like we heard from a community member recently where, you know, the CFO is having more influence than ever in the company. And so, you know, are we really generating things that are useful to our users, that make the company more efficient, that increase performance? If the answer is no, it's time to stop slapping agents on everything. And it's time to start getting down to, you know, really business as usual in tech. And that maturity, that maturation, I think as we all head into 2026, people that want to build these systems, it's like, you know, the comments earlier when we kicked off today, you know, that I really want people to leave here with is like none of us are worried about getting automated out of a job.
Oh, no.
Because we're going to be building the systems that create real business value, real value for other people. And yeah, it's kind of more boring or whatever than like Agent Builder and Agent Kit and like, you know, the world's going to end and the doomer line, but it's really actually like more optimistic and inspiring for both people and companies heading into 2026.
This is the thing, right? Like people fear AI automating the stuff that's fun and interesting.
Yeah.
Not the stuff that's super boring and tedious and mandatory. Right. And one of the things, again, back to Butch, right? One of the things they're most excited about is, well, there's a lot of form filling.
That's right.
There's a lot of documentation at a personal level, at the state level, right? And that's not something people want to have to deal with. And so to get these systems to a point where we can rely on them to help us do those difficult tasks. Again, to build that system isn't as shiny as building like the agent that can get 100% on the latest coding competition. But boy, howdy, there's a lot of forms signed every year. You know?
That's right. Yeah, well, all the coding agents might be getting all of the like love and all of the hype juice right now. I think it's really important that we think about all the tens of thousands of companies that need just like their docs properly ragged, and they need like not super sophisticated coding agents deployed in production, but simple search and retrieval done right. Go back to the basics, even of keyword search itself in a lot of cases to get started. And that's going to really help people get on the path. Okay, so what I want to do, we're about 15 minutes in. Let's tell everybody how it kicked off today.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of get into a little bit about, if they're streaming live and from around the world, what are you really missing at the end of the day?
That's right.
Here's the deal, guys. So we kicked off this morning at about 9:30 a.m. with some opening remarks. Yours truly trying to get the hype up in the crowd.
Bringing the energy.
We got Dave Scharbach, who's going to be joining us in just a little bit, who basically leads this ragtag gang of rebels putting together the MLOps World GenAI Summit. And then we had Dennis Linkoff, the head of ML at WiseDocs, give another update on exactly what kind of transpired from last year's MLOps to this year's MLOps, something that Dennis has become known for in this kind of MLOps world space. Can you give us a recap of what kind of Dennis pointed out that seemed relevant to him and what the kind of line on, in case you missed it last year, what we're getting to here at MLOps World?
I mean, there was so much that you can't possibly contain it in one short presentation, but one of the things that I really took from what he was talking about is there's an increased prevalence of open source frontier models from our friends across the pond, as well as domestic to the States. We have a lot of consumer applications of this technology that have really kind of blown up. So one of the technologies he talked about was the Giblification, right? During the GPT image gen, Nano Banana. Right. Sora 2. Like these are all consumer applications of AI. Something else I think that was important that he talked about is this idea of our AI is getting a longer and longer attention span. I think that was a really good point to bring up because we are automating really, really boring, monotonous, tedious tasks that take forever. And that's something that AI is, he made a little quip about it, but basically the idea is, our attention span might be shrinking, but AI's is growing. And I thought that was what a rapper.
Yeah. And then we had another guy come in during these lightning talks that was talking about putting the humanity back in AI. And this guy was built diff, this one. I think his name was Glenn. Very, very cool and interesting just to sort of stack on this point where he came to the Toronto Machine Learning Summit a few months ago and he thought, but what do people actually think about AI? And how is this? And one of the things that he came up with in his 80 or 100 conversations he's had with people, non-CEOs, right? Don't listen to CEOs and CTOs, apparently is what he said. And I, in large measure, I agree. If you're trying to get the line on real people, and
100%.
I mean, we're always selling something out here. You got to be wary of course. This. But like, I think the interesting piece here is like people did actually note from their perspective that this kind of attention span, this kind of concern of like, I don't even know actually what I'm that good at anymore. Like versus when I didn't have AI kind of vibe. And this is something that people are struggling with.
Like literally.
Literal struggle.
We're all on the same struggle bus, right? I mean, it's
how would I do my job without Jippity? It's a real issue today that I think we all kind of ask ourselves. And it was really interesting to see that reflected back in his talk.
It's one of those beautiful points, right? Which is that once you got the calculator and you realized how quickly the calculator could do huge multiplication for you,
calcs,
and you're not one of these people who can do it in your head in 3 seconds.
That's right.
It's like going back to non-calculators. Crazy.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's insane, right? I think the same vibe is happening with AI, where we have this machine that can do so much of this work that's not the interesting part, right?
That's right.
And going back to a world without it is just it almost seems silly.
Slide rule status. Yeah.
That's
okay.
Right.
Well, we've got Dave Scharbach in the house.
Yeah,
I'd like to welcome the executive director of MLOps World to the AI Makerspace stage here. Welcome, Dave. So Dave, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about what you are most excited about this year at MLOps World, and tell everybody a little bit about how it kind of differs from your other conference you guys run, the Toronto Machine Learning Summit.
Yeah, sure. So we the Toronto Machine Learning Summit was a little bit more focused on the theoretical, had its origins in data science and deep learning. At some point, we thought, when the rubber hits the road, we want to make sure that we're focusing in on a lot of the engineering tasks that need to happen when we're putting models into production, and now obviously agents in production. This was a whole world onto its own, and at the time, ML engineer wasn't even a thing. So prior to that, a lot of data scientists were tasked with, expectations that, to be frank, just weren't realistic. So it was enough for us to really dedicate a conference to trying to help teams tackle some of those core engineering problems, and that was the impetus for the MLOps event.
Yeah. Okay, so 6 years ago, this conference began. How would you kind of categorize the evolution over the last couple since ChatGPT came out? I mean, it's kind of changed the MLOps space a little bit. We kind of now are doing a lot more GenAI. I mean, how are you guys seeing that actually reflected in conference talks, in conference planning, and how quickly things change? What kind of challenges do you see from where you sit?
Yes, so from the conference perspective, I mean, you usually, if you're at the top of the peak, when we're really launching into the hype cycle, it's a lot of excitement. Obviously, a lot of the vendors down in the expo are getting, a lot of investment. It's a lot of, I guess, more ideas, more theoretical concepts. And we've sort of seen a couple of waves, and this is with transformers and deep learning to MLOps to now, GenAI and LLMs and agents in production. There's a little bit of a couple of years where it's a little bit more sobering, I would say, where companies are, okay, we've invested now into these teams, where's the ROI?
No.
And you go through these cycles. So this year is kind of one of those cycles where we're like, okay, we have a little bit more to talk about, first of all. So you go through, companies this week like Toyota, Realtor.com, the Marriott, Dick's Sporting Goods, and all these big Fortune 500 companies. They're pretty open about some of the limitations of what they can and can't do.
Yeah.
And it's different. I mean, 2 years ago, it's, hey, here's what we're building. Here's the POCs that we have in production, not quite in production, but we're getting there. Having that sobering sort of reality check, whereas this is what we intended and this is what we have.
Yeah.
If you could get people to speak about that, that's really where the gold's at. Because as I was saying this morning, there's no step-by-step rule book for this. You're really restricted to the resources that you have available, and that's what makes this interesting. But it's also what makes it super challenging, because you can sit in on a talk, you can sit on somebody else's case study, and then you go back to your team and it's like, well, the car that we have doesn't really fit that engine. And that's where you have to get creative. We don't really think about machine learning and agents and putting stuff into production as a creative endeavor, but everybody has limitations on their resources. The things that we tend to celebrate publicly are like, hey, the Facebook use case, and they could build things in-house, and they could do all this stuff with the money that they have. And the reality for most companies is that that's not even a good model to try and follow. So you can seek inspiration from lots of different sources, and Greg, Chris, you guys I know are really helping people out, which I appreciate. It's inspiring to see you guys doing what you're doing, because it helps the folks within your community problem solve, and again with realistic frames of reference, right? As opposed to hey, we're just gonna follow what's going on in Google Dev Day or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, everybody's gonna implement Agent Builder because it was released this week. Everybody, Dick's, Marriott, that's the number one thing on their list, right? So I mean, if you have if we go deeper into the gold here that you're talking about, right? So what is the gold that you're most excited about that people can get out of learning from the talks here this week? Are there any talks you're particularly excited about that you would manage to land as the organizer?
It's a great question. I mean, the workshops are always really helpful.
Yeah.
They're practical, they're tactical. We did something different this year, which was 3-minute lightning rounds, Mariam did a great talk this morning.
Oh,
I know she had some
a little
people
foreshadowing there, gang.
Yeah, she had some people come up and speak. Small language models are huge right now. The other thing that's happening tomorrow at 1:35 is we have some of those larger enterprise teams coming in, doing a quick lightning talk, and then the emphasis is really going to be on the roundtable, so people can come in. My goal is to have, if it's about evals or observability or whatever the focus is, to have a group of people that are working in that similar setting. Because again, it's the talks are, you're only going to get so much out of a talk. The real emphasis is having somebody that you trust that can contextualize the learnings within that talk, and then hopefully you have enough confidence and like personal relationship to be like, hey, this is what we're up against, this is what I have to work with, and then you can sort of troubleshoot. Teams that operate in silos can waste a lot of resources, so we're trying to break down those walls. And anyways, that's one of the things that I'm really excited about this year, is to really experiment with some more social engineering, communication, like group discussion, roundtables, such stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. So one last question here that we'll end on here, because you said it. You said evals, Dave. Evals. Well, so one of the lines here, and it's so interesting because you guys have a more machine learning focused conference and a more MLOps focused production conference. We're hearing the line now on evals are just data science for production LLM applications. So how do you square this peg in this round hole here between your data science focused conference and your production focused conference, and agent ops on the horizon? How do you stay in buzzword compliance as the guy in charge of leading this ship here?
Well, it's a tough question. Yeah, you nailed it. It's tough because at the end of the day, if you're looking to get value from what you're doing, I mean, what we're seeing now in the industry is a lot of stuff's internal. It's a lot of internal optimization, a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, but not client customer facing. I think what I'm hoping for is in the next couple of years, we start to see things that, can help focus a little bit more outward. And that's where some of the value is going to come. That's when we talk about, all the hype and all the investment. It's like at some point we're going to have to get out there, and companies are going to have to be confident in front of their customers using some of this tech that we're building. Obviously, evals are important. Data science is still important. UX designers are really important because some of the game. Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff that's like, the UX behind some of these agentic systems and the GenAI stuff that we've built over the last couple of years is kind of lacking. So I don't know. It's a big complex system. It depends again on the resources that you have, on the team size, all these different factors, but hey, we're trying to pull it full circle, and we'll see. It's anyone's guess.
And what makes it possible exactly for you to pull it full circle, Dave? I believe we are soliciting sponsors out here today. Is there any message you'd like to give the audience today? How they can get involved or connect with you?
Shoot me a message on LinkedIn. Follow these guys. Follow AI
Like and
Makerspace.
Subscribe. Dave's LinkedIn.
Like and subscribe. I'm happy to meet a bunch of people, and we try and make the conference as accessible as possible. So if you're in the area, come on down. We'll sort you out. And if you're interested in speaking or exhibiting or just getting involved on the committee, shoot me a message. I'm always here.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
No
I
problem.
appreciate it, dude.
Thank you, Dave.
What a legend, Dave.
Let's go. Thank you.
The man in charge. Say hi to him if you do come out. Wiz, what did you think about that? Classic Dave.
Listen,
right?
Classic. One of the things I like about this conference more than other conferences is they're not afraid to talk about what didn't work. And I think that's something that's refreshing, because like a lot of it doesn't work. Especially the first time, right? And so if you can kind of skip, what didn't work for Toyota or what didn't work for whatever other, organization that's trying real hard with a lot of really talented engineers to get AI to like provide value to their ecosystem, I think you get a fast track to the stuff that might work. And then you can come the next year and really push that forward.
Okay. So speaking of stuff that does work, I think OSS and open source software is one of those things.
I heard.
Right? So Dave did a little foreshadowing here. So just to get back to the agenda. So we kicked off. We had a little swag giveaway, and we had Dave introduce. We also had a couple of lightning talks. We talked about some of those, and we heard from Dennis. One of those lightning talks was actually from our friends over at RCAI.
RCAI, man.
Right, and this one was from Miriam, who actually just a few years ago went to a TML's conference as a I believe graduate student in Toronto, and now she's working for one of the leading startups in AI, presenting live in front of a live studio audience here
Listen.
at MLOps World. We're pumped to invite Miriam.
Miriam's here
To the stage
No joke.
today. Let's go.
RCAI in the flesh.
RCAI.
One
We're
of
like
our favorite
RC in the house.
One of our favorite people to talk to
That's
chat
right.
with. The RCA, anyone who's watched us knows, longtime fans. They were doing good work before. They have started doing even better work, really aligned with the community, really aligned with that open AI.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually open
That's
AI.
right. Okay. So here was, I'm ready for Miriam to give us the pitch.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, here we go. Miriam, SLMs and fine tuning, building the infra for multi-agent systems. Maybe if you could tell us too during your pitch. Why Apache 2.0 and OSS? Why are you guys going all in on this? What's the future? What do you think, Miriam?
Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me. Yeah, I think our decision to go Apache 2.0 with our previous models and all the models that are in training right now is really timely. We've always been really big believers in open source. You can see that with MergeKit, with some of our other developer toolkits. And now we just want to make, building things like multi-agent systems more accessible than ever, especially on the sovereignty and ownership front. And we're really keen to connect with developers and give them the right tools to make this possible. And openness is one of the way forwards. And especially with a lot of the new ways that we're customizing models, I kind of tease a little bit of RL in my talk, but openness right now is going to be one of the ways that we can leverage that even further. So we're really excited about this. We're excited for people to try the models. We're excited to hear the feedback. There will be a Discord server coming out soon that you can join. So we'll be in touch with you there. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, but we'll also tweet about it on our Twitter page or X. And you can join from there.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've seen just being part of the community, right, is Datology and RC and Prime, RL talking a lot, chatting a lot, and it's starting to form this kind of little pocket of really open forward, pushing the limits of the space. I mean, RC's been pushing the limits on things like merging for a very long time, and I think it's really heartening to see this kind of coalescence of really, really smart people working on a really important problem in an open way. I wonder, what's the, when it comes to that open philosophy, right? You guys are not just open, but you're also opening models that you're training from a different pool or expanded pool or well-curated pool of pre-training data, right?
Yes.
Through that work with Datology. So how important do you think it is to, to the community to be representing something that's kind of in quite a lot of ways novel or unique in terms of what they're used to, right? I don't know if you can speak to it, but what's that kind of ecosystem that you guys are helping build or be a part of? How do you see that helping the whole dev community for model builders to app builders?
Yeah, well, I love your question. First of all, I think this is lacking a little bit in North America. So we're really excited to be kind of pushing that forward and pushing the openness forward. You mentioned the partnership with Datology, and I think a big part of how things are going to evolve for companies like ourselves is going to be on the partnerships front and who we decide to work with and how that ends up enabling developers. So if those are done strategically, then I think the lives of everyone at the conference could be made easier in a couple of months and a year from now, and maybe that will be more of a topic. But it was really good to hear from the opening remarks that the awareness of openness and its value is being talked about even more, and we're super excited to be part of it.
Yeah, and there's so much in the space right now. There's so much work being done, and the West is picking up on this, right? Which is great. The other question is, so models are dope, check. SLMs. RC has been stumping SLMs since the first day we talked to them, right?
Yes.
What do you think is the kind of innovation space left in SLMs as we move to, the S stands for small, on the surface, but also it kind of stands for specialized, right?
Mhm.
What do you think is the power of SLMs as we go forward into this what we were talking about earlier, which is this very personalized, very specific to use case models, and how does RC see their part playing out in that effort?
Right. So a couple things here. I think when I mentioned in my talk, but one of my favorite things I've been saying a lot lately is now the mindset is shifting a little bit more towards performance per parameter, right? So how much can we get out of each parameter in this model? So what we're optimizing for is a little bit different. And the greater scheme as well, I think moving away from like generalized knowledge and a lot of the benchmarks that I was talking about to understanding what it really looks like to eval these models in enterprise use cases and helping these companies actually get ROI out of AI. That's a whole different ballgame that a lot of these foundation models were not, training with that in mind. So that's one thing. The second thing on the specialized aspect of things, RC has been, like you said, really a huge proponent of small language models since basically their inception. And we have a ton of information on that in our blogs and our website. And, you can check out our co-founders, how long they've been talking about this. It's one thing that personally really drew me to the company. They were extremely ahead of the curve, right? And now everyone is catching up, which is amazing. But we have a good belief as well that, models, and I know I, mentioned fine tuning in RL, but when it comes to small models, we have a strong emphasis on making them more steerable. And we want our models to be as adaptable as possible. So that's a very kind of different, I guess, say, skill set for the model to have, especially with the builders at the conference like this. Models being reliable and consistent, something I heard a lot, after the conference from builders, or after my talk rather, coming up to me and mentioning, well, we're using XYZ models and we noticed they're really good at this thing, but not consistently. And that's where we're struggling when we put it into production. So like I mentioned before, RC is a frontier research lab with a commercial focus. So I'm here to listen to those things. The whole team is listening to this kind of feedback. We're excited to connect with the community and learn what the missing gaps are to kind of push the power of SLMs even further than we've already seen that they can do.
I mean, that's just the best. That's just the best.
Okay, so, I think you kind of answered one of my questions, which is like, what's your secret mission here? Okay, so I think, if you have feedback from Miriam about things you're really running into, performance per parameter, down in the weeds type stuff, great. But I think also for our audience, before we say goodbye here in this live stream, is like I'm struck by the way you carried yourself on stage today. It was really, really good. And then you told us a little bit about your background story, and you just kind of got started like really out of school a couple of years ago. We've got a lot of people out here that are trying to figure out their path, that are trying to get, into the level and range of success that you've achieved. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about like what you've been doing over the last 2 years to get you into this position to be able to get hired at RC, and what you'd recommend for people trying to follow similar paths in the future?
Well, thank you for the question. I'm very humbled. For the timelines as well, I think it's been about 4 years since I attended TMLS. Right. So I want to keep it realistic for everyone.
Yeah, okay. It takes a long time.
It takes time,
yes,
right?
Yes.
I guess my suggestions would just be, go to as many events as you can. Connect with, people will tell you to connect with people who can get you hired and get you into these positions, but you have to lay your groundwork and connect with other builders first. And I think TMLS was like one of the places that I was starting to do that and continue to flourish and really nourish those connections over the years, a lot of which I'm still connected to, some of which paths are crossing with RC, which is a little teaser, but things will be announced soon.
Let's go.
So yeah, TMLS.
We'll have you back on the channel then
maybe,
for the sick drop. Yeah,
but
okay,
there's a ton of value in, attending conferences like this. So I would say
conferences, check.
Yeah,
okay.
Any opportunity you have to attend one, please go. If you want to propose it to your boss, to your supervisor in your research lab like I did, make the case for it, and who knows, they might approve it. That's what happened in my case. Other than that, I think just understand.
If you don't ask, the answer's no. That's
yes,
right. Okay.
Right.
All right.
If you don't ask, you don't get. I think that's a great way to summarize
and
it.
In terms of studying, like what did you try to make sure you were really good at coming out of academia and trying to get into the workforce at the edge?
So I think the biggest thing that I worked on was being aware of my knowledge gaps and filling them through obviously interview processes, but independent study. Grad school is an amazing experience, but obviously a lot of us know that you're hyper-focused on one topic, which is great. If you want to go into that, awesome. If you want to branch out, you will have some gaps. So having that strong self-awareness and filling it over time, this space moves extremely rapidly. It's overwhelming. And getting into the workforce especially is even more overwhelming. So I think understanding that it takes a little bit of time, but through each interview, through each coffee chat, through each YouTube video you watch or notes you make, you will slowly but surely get
Yeah, okay, so you've definitely been a schmoozer, you can tell, but like in terms of like building projects, building, shipping and sharing projects, like is this something you really focused on? Is this something that, you know, was important for you to land this role? And did you have other roles along the way?
Yes, definitely.
That kind of opened up the opportunity. I'm trying to just get the clear path.
Okay, yeah.
Everybody.
So prior to RC,
so grad school, you go to TMLS 4 years ago. You're studying knowledge gaps. You're like, oh man, I don't know anything about doing stuff in prod because obviously like I'm in grad school.
Yes.
And then so you do what? You attack what exactly?
So I was fortunate, and I actually think now that we're talking about this, I would recommend. I was in consulting a few years before this.
All right.
It's challenging, right?
It's a grind.
It's a grind.
Yeah.
And, you know, Big Four consultancy, boutique consultancy, I got a lot of experience solving challenging problems, a variety of them, working with a ton of different people.
Yep.
And I was also, there was a really great way for me to fill those knowledge gaps and that gap from, you know, studying to production, actually putting things into practice. So I was fortunate in that sense. I would recommend if you can take an opportunity like that early in your career, it's great. It's not for everyone in the long term, and that's completely okay. A lot of folks leave and go back to it.
That's right.
Right. But it's a great way to kickstart and get a lot of projects under your belt.
Okay, so what's next for you, Mariam? What should we all be looking out for on the horizon?
Watch out for RC. I think I'll be here for a while, and
let's go. Super
excited about everything that we're doing and just where the space is going in general. So
amazing. Well, thanks for joining us on the live stream today. We look forward to having you again in the future.
Thank you so
much.
And okay, Wiz.
RC, listen.
We love RC.
I never stop loving these guys.
I know, yeah, like since the early days, like they're definitely
even if Jacob's off in the woods writing a book
that's
or whatever's
right,
happening right now,
crushing it, dude.
RC's number one.
You know,
SLMs,
like, and yeah, the updating of the vision, the alignment with the industry, the continuing to push,
and like getting people like Mariam.
Yeah, the team building. Yeah, along the way,
going from early career to to these kinds of gigs. Like this is the thing is that we know this, everybody knows this, but you need hungry people on your team. You need people who are going to get after it. And it's nice to see RC really picking up on that. And anyway,
and I do know that Lucas continues to hire legit researchers.
Oh yeah.
If that's your bag.
That's
okay,
right.
So we haven't really seen much of the conference yet.
It's just started.
Okay, and so I want to kind of go through the rest of the day with everybody.
Yep.
And then we'll go ahead and have our final guest of the afternoon here. So, like, of course, I think there's a dope talk later this afternoon called like how to build ChatGPT.
I heard that.
I think
I heard that.
I think some boys are doing that.
I like those guys.
Dr. Greg and the Wiz legends. Okay, but beyond that, there was one this morning called "The Real Problem: Building Agentic Applications and How MLOps Solves It." This one is from ZenML.
Classic ZenML.
Classic ZenML.
Yeah.
Absolutely classic. What is it that ZenML does in a nutshell? If you kind of tell everybody.
They're a platform for MLOps.
Classic.
Which means they do a lot of things. They help people productionalize machine learning. And now, of course, machine learning has become AI. And so same, right? LLMs are tricky beasts to wrangle. There's a lot of stuff that goes into hosting, deploying. There's a lot of stuff that goes into maintaining. There's just a lot of things you have to worry about.
That's right.
And so they do a great job building a platform that does exactly that.
Yeah. And of course, ZenML is a sponsor of the conference.
Oh, yeah.
And, they've been good friends of the conference, and their founder Adam, great guy. Okay,
10 out of 10.
let's keep going here. How to train your agent, building reliable agents with RL.
Oh, yeah.
RL from Merriam. RL is creeping back in.
It's
seems.
everywhere.
Have you noticed that? This is from OpenPipe, and it's like, what do you expect to see in something like how to train your agent, showing people RL? What kind of toolkits do you expect from that? Obviously, they're probably going to show some OpenPipe stuff.
Yeah.
Like what exactly is it that is the TLDR on?
Well, think of it this way.
Doing with RL today.
Originally,
Yeah.
RL. Originally,
The OG.
the OG,
Yeah.
back in the day,
100%.
talked about agents in spaces,
Yeah.
right?
Literally walking around.
in environments.
Yeah.
And so
And-
agents, as we know them,
uh-huh.
right, are effectively LLMs that can take actions. And those actions are going to have associated with them like amount of success, right?
Right.
So like for any given problem, my agent could take a most correct action at time step, N.
That's right.
So the idea is that you can that's exactly what you need for RL. You need the agent to be
Yeah.
able to take actions,
right.
and you need to be able to reward those actions.
You need to be able to verify that.
Oh, oh man, we're getting into
getting
into the RLVR.
Oh, yeah.
But the idea is straightforward. Like these systems are, in the classical RL sense,
That's
they
right.
are agents, and so it just makes a ton of sense to tie this back. Obviously, the algorithm to bake that behavior into the LLM has to be a little bit different. Obviously, there's some translation there, but at the end of the day, these are agents that can take actions, and we can reward or score those actions. And so the problem is, it builds itself, right?
And we see words like GERPO. We see things.
Of course.
And
GERPO for days.
Kyle says this won't be an open pipe pitch session, but rather all the OSS tooling
Oh,
to make these models work. Let's go, my man Kyle. Okay.
let's go.
So love to see that. And it's like there's just kind of a lot of stuff in this agents in production kind of theme across. Let me read a couple titles here. Metaflow, the base plate for agentic systems. And we're going to see something from how Metaflow works there from outer bounds, it seems. And it's like everybody's got a tool, but as we all like to focus on here, it's always about the core concepts and the core code at the bottom. So we got a Metaflow one. We've got a doxing dark money one. Entity resolution to empower downstream AI applications and anti-fraud.
Yeah.
And this is something we were talking about the other day, right? Fraud is such a classic use case because when you talk about ROI, you get it wrong.
Oh, it's bad.
You get defrauded.
It's very bad.
Famously, even since classic, let's say MLOps, it's been really bad. So we're starting to see again some of this more ROI focused stuff.
Well, and it makes sense that like this is happening at the same time as RC is saying, right? We're entering this SLM era, the specialized language model era, right? Fraud requires a very specialized model. It requires you to take very specialized actions because the cost of getting it wrong isn't that someone clicks thumbs down and might churn away from your app. The cost is hundreds of millions of dollars potentially.
No bueno. And to that point, talk called securing models. We're seeing the security, right? We're seeing the importance of actually doing that follow-on work to the innovation that everybody's been so obsessed with recently.
One of the things that I love, right, is this quote, which is MCP. The S stands for security.
Oh,
right. And it's one of these things where
there's no S.
There's no S.
Yeah,
right.
So it's so good.
So it's we live in this world where security and securing models it has been an afterthought for too long.
But yet, like when we look at the long-term view of AI, this is probably one of the biggest fields of growth that we're going to see. Because what are you going to do? You have a bunch of agents running around, no humans to secure them? I don't think so.
That's right.
Okay, from vectors to agents, managing RAG in an agentic world, a classic.
Always.
Michelangelo's Uber platform going open source. I think, we've heard a lot about this in many years previously. Maybe there's something new there going on. Perhaps I'll be interested to find out. Multimodal feedback loops, opening Pandora's box, observability, talking about risk, talking about scale. Context is king.
We know
who's
that.
This one from BlackRock. BlackRock is actually talking about this. Scaling beyond prompting at BlackRock.
Let's go.
Kind of sounds pretty dope. Why CI/CD fails for AI, and how CC/CD fixes it. Buzzword alert, everybody. What is that? I think we saw that somewhere else recently in the Discord. Continuous calibration. I'm not sure if that was the buzzword, but that's the one being
buzzwords for days
slung here today. And
it's all. I mean, the theme of all of these talks is real simple, right? Which is that we've built this stuff, and we've discovered a universe that exists around the basic technology, right?
That's right.
We built this seed. We planted this seed. We watered it.
Yeah.
And now we have a whole tree.
And it's like, wait, is it good? Is that what I wanted? Let me prune that.
That's right.
Let me water.
We got ants and stuff. We got
a little nether seed, making a garden.
Yeah.
Right. It's like trying to just keep it primped and pruned along the way,
and just discovering like all of the gotchas that exist at every single layer of the stack, right? It's infinite gotchas, and we're just getting started with even beginning to think about some of these, right? And it's just so reflected in the agenda.
Yeah,
like it's crazy.
Right, and then we got the VCs coming in, agents as ordinary software, principled engineering at scale. We got some hype juice in here as well, guys. Why is ML on Kubernetes hard? Some K8s action.
Hey, K8s, right, let's go.
And what gets AI agents to production? A classic. Okay, so we really are seeing this. Yeah, if evals is like the top layer after you've built it and you want to make sure it's good, then we're seeing the additional layers of like what happens when I'm doing the opsing after the eval? What happens when I'm running it in prod? What happens when I then need to secure it? And maybe I need to use AI to do just that.
Yeah. I mean, one of the interesting things about
and our boy, Ravi,
Yeah.
Agents in manufacturing. We're starting to see domains coming online here from Toyota.
It's insane.
You know, so more domains, more maturity.
Well, we're entering the part of the ecosystem where like cybersecurity experts come back into the loop, right? Where all of
cyber, let's go.
All of these people that we've spent the last 2 years kind of not being ready for, we're finally ready for them, right? And I think that people have this impression that like the AI market is only for people into AI, but we're about to need everybody, all hands on deck to solve this absolute constellation of
Now, my
issues.
question is, all those cybersecurity bootcamp billboards in San Francisco, are those boot camps still relevant? Like, what do we need to do in the cybersecurity space? I'm excited to talk more about this with you, Wiz, and to explore it on the channel and in our boot camp, because at some point, we got to teach the regular old AI engineer how to start thinking about this, how to start talking to security about this, how to start doing things that are more reliable.
Well, the beauty is like, it's not going to be AI engineers that solve a lot of these problems. It's going to be AI engineers helping the SMEs solve these problems, right? And I think this is like your expertise. We say this a lot, I say this a lot, but like the people that we most need in the AI space right now, they still have never heard of AI, right? They're still learning about it
a lot,
and it's just more and more true every year. And I think it is part of what we hope to teach people is, you know, this requires a village to build and maintain. And
you're talking about how people get started with?
Oh,
is that what you're talking about?
Oh, that's crazy. I brought that up.
God,
what?
Wow. What a great segue. Because our very last guest of the day, guys, we want to everybody give a warm welcome to Cat GPT.
That's right.
In case you haven't met Dr. Katarina Gothorp. Welcome, Kat. Kat,
Welcome.
Kat actually you did the first lightning lesson. Me and you crushed it the other day, a couple weeks back. And what exactly is it that we're doing at AI Makerspace now? You're leading these efforts, guys. Kat is like the up and coming whiz. Okay, just so you guys know, what is it that your focus is to sort of help out people that are trying to get into the game and to just get started? Can you tell everybody a little bit about what we taught recently and what we're hoping to teach in the coming weeks?
Yeah, sure. So we are trying to help people like catch up and understand what the LLMs are, what Python is, try to help them up to the speed to be more ready for the bootcamp that Wes and Greg lead afterwards.
Yeah.
So what we did at the lightning session is we were trying to understand better git flow, try to understand like how to get cursor,
Right.
like start really from the beginning.
That's right.
And now what we are going to do is we are going to bring on-ramp to try to, again, help those people that need to, they want to take the bootcamp, but they don't have all the skills that they need.
That's right. That's right. The on-ramp, you say. Are you speaking of the AI Engineer on-ramp, guys, on the latest course from AI Makerspace? So, I mean, this is really important because, you know, if you don't understand how to use simple branching in Git, if you don't understand how to get started vibe coding, if you don't understand how to actually leverage cursor, if you don't understand the Python commands, whether you're coming from a different developer background, like it's really hard to just kind of hit the ground running in something like our boot camp, which generally assumes like you either know it or you're gonna know it in the first week or two. Otherwise, you're gonna have a really bad time. I thought you did a great job presenting to beginners. Like, what's your pitch to people that want to get in the game, but they aren't really sure if they've got what it takes?
Yeah, maybe look at our lightning sessions,
Yeah.
see if this is more up to your speed, if you need help more like on the beginning side.
That's right.
And then like take the on-ramp if you need that. If you feel more confident and you are like, I know all this, like I already coded in Python many times.
Yeah, exactly.
You can skip it.
Skip it. Yeah, exactly. This is only for people that need it. Now, okay, so the reason that you're kind of up and coming and being able to support this role is because you're kind of a legend unto yourself. I mean, can you tell everybody a little bit about, you know, what you've done in the past? And then when you go to a conference like this, you've been to many, many conferences over the years. What are you looking for? What are you most interested in on like the edge of the technical stuff? You know, getting away from the beginner stuff. You know, you've got your eye on things. What are they? And have you kind of noticed anything at this conference you're particularly excited about?
Okay. Well, I would say like I'm very like maybe multimodal. Like my expertise.
ChatGPT, classic ChatGPT right there.
My experience is in predictive analytics. I started with time series forecasting. I did image recognition that I'm very interested in until today, and large language models, obviously.
Right.
So it's like many different like spheres, like many different also areas. I worked for the government. I worked in research. I published articles. Worked in transportation company, currently in a finance world. So
a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So yeah, I mean, so what do you look at when you go to a conference like this? What are you most excited for? And then, you know, Wiz, if you've got any final questions for Kat on this kind of advanced, what do you guys look at conferences like this for your edification, so you can stay out ahead? I think this is particularly of interest to our audience here. So maybe you can speak first, Kat.
Yeah, I like the Uber session. I think like it's gonna be a multi-agent SDK. I'm thinking like it might be even multimodal because they have self-driving vehicles. So I wonder how they are doing that, if they use AI, if they use LLMs as well. So that's what I'm looking for. I like to also network. I feel like that's very powerful to understand like what the others are doing in the space in different roles and different fields. So I think that's what I'm looking for the most. Yeah, just if you are here, just connect with me. I'll be happy to talk to you.
I mean, what I'm looking for is what people are no longer talking about, right? So what has absorbed into kind of like the base layer of understanding? I think it's really informative, especially for a conference with an audience like TMLS and MLOps, where they're quite a bit geared towards people who are just getting started. or people who are kind of like really locked in at the enterprise level, right? Like they're crushing it at their level. And I'm looking to see what's faded from the agenda. What are we no longer talking about? Because that really tells you like where the base layer of knowledge needs to be, which is something that we want to make sure we cover in the on-ramp, right? We want to make sure that on-ramp gets you to the point where you could come to TMLS, or you can come to MLOps, and you can actually engage with the content, you can understand it, and you can leave with something valuable from a next steps perspective, right? And so seeing things like simple RAG fade away, seeing things like, our obsession with like, vector databases and stuff kind of fading into like brass tacks. It's really, really helpful to level set for how to make the best curriculum that's most up to date for people who are entering the space. And that's what is so helpful about CAT, right? Is the ability to teach to those concepts in a way that makes you prepared to engage with the space as it continues to evolve at the LLM edge, right? It's nice to see where the edge starts, and I find conferences like this tell us exactly where, and it's just very exciting to see that and to see where we're going. Like, I mean, agents in 3 years ago, very few talks about agents. This year, a lot of talks about agents, so you can really see how we're progressing. And otherwise, it's dope to chat with dope people. I mean, we know so many dope people, and we meet new dope people every time we come. We've heard it like 4 times, but just double down. People are a big part of why you should go to conferences. There you go.
All right. Yeah, and Kat, I don't know if you noticed, but it's kind of weird when people talk about RAG now. Have you noticed the kind of air dies out of the room a little bit, right? Where you're like, oh, it's RAG again.
It's not cool anymore.
No, it's not cool. And so it's like, that is an indicator of like, well, maybe it's worth considering moving this out of, the edge boot camp and into something like the on-ramp. So as the world expands around us, the curriculum must expand as well. And so we'll continue to push the edge while supporting those just getting on the path. Kat, thanks for joining us. Looking forward to many more events in the near future with you, and excited to kick off the very first The AI Engineer on-ramp starting November 3rd. Join me and ChatGPT to join us live. Okay, thanks.
It's gonna be all right. Thanks.
And then,
Thank
Wiz,
you.
as we crush the rest of today's session, there's one more person we got to invite.
Of course.
Before we close out.
Of course, the closer.
The closer
himself.
Yeah, the man with the plan. This is the man on the inside. Jacob Kilpatrick AI, aka Jacobs. What up, Jacobs?
What up?
So this is the young man that has been an absolute stellar addition to our team. If you don't know Jacobs, it's probably because you haven't taken a course with us yet, but he's always in the background helping us get set up. He's actually going to shut down this very stream for us today.
That's right.
It's time to close it out. Jacobs, what do you have to say about the experience so far at the conf for people, that maybe they're not as legit as Kat or Miriam, but just as a kind of a more of a regular conference goer, did this feel approachable to you? Have you met any cool people yet? What's the vibe from your perspective?
I mean, it's still day one, so we still have to get into it. But I mean, my main thing is there's just such a good community here so far. I mean, of course, we have the leg up that we have, our own community, and we have tons of those members. But it's just been a super kind of friendly vibe from everyone, which is great to see. Doing the meet and greets was nice, the icebreakers, and it's really approachable, even if you're not, the head of AI at your company.
Oh yeah, let's go. Okay, so what do we got going on the rest of the day, Jacobs?
Oh, we got a 3-hour workshop in 15 minutes. So Jacobs is stressing.
Okay. So I think that does mean it's time to wrap up the live stream today, boys. Live from MLOps aka MLOps World 2025 from Austin with the dope trees in the background. It's been a pleasure, guys. We look forward to streaming live next year. And Wiz, do you think he's ready to? Are we ready to go, Wiz?
We're ready.
All right, Jacobs,
Shut
shut
it
her down,
down.
guys. Let's rock. We'll see you next time, everybody. Until then, shoot.
But Greg, how do they get started building shipping and sharing?
Getting started is the hardest part, like it was for you and for me. You can get started with the AI Engineer Challenge, and you can share it in the Build, Ship, Share channel on Discord. Links in the description. What if they want to accelerate their ability?
Well, we actually have a 10-week intensive boot camp where you learn to build, ship, and share production-ready LLM applications every single week.
The AI Engineering Bootcamp cohort starting soon. We'll have you building, shipping, and sharing
Like a legend.
in no time. We'll see you in class.